The first two people in the public impeachment hearing testified as millions watched. We have the testimony and reaction.
Thousands of University of California patient care workers went on strike. Today, they refused to work. They say they deserve better treatment at work.
And almost 40 horses have died at the Santa Anita track race. Members of PETA staged a demonstration where they dressed up as horses and dropped dead.
Annenberg TV News is next.
Live from USC, you're watching Annenberg TV News.
If we find that the President of the United States abused his power and invited foreign interference in our elections, is this what Americans should now expect from their president? If this is not impeachable conduct, what is?
Today marked the first day of the public impeachment hearings against President Donald Trump. Good evening, I'm Kellie Miller.
And I'm Cecil Hannibal. To unpack the hearing, we're tossing it over to our political anchor, Hyun. Nathan?
Yeah, thanks, guys. Today, Americans got to hear for themselves from two witnesses in the impeachment inquiry. Democratic Chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, Adam Schiff, led the charge. Then his Republican counterpart, Devin Nunes, came out swinging.
Questions presented by this impeachment inquiry are whether President Trump sought to exploit that ally's vulnerability and invite Ukraine's interference in our elections.
The witnesses deemed suitable for television by the Democrats were put through a closed-door audition process in a cult-like atmosphere in the basement of the Capitol, where Democrats conducted secret depositions, released a flood of misleading and one-sided leaks, and later selectively released transcripts in a highly staged manner.
Nunes continued to attack the Democrats' handling of the inquiry. Schiff asked witnesses George Kent and Bill Taylor about what President Trump wanted to investigate. Kent said he is not partisan, having served 3 Republican presidents and 2 Democrat presidents. Taylor, the top U.S. Democrat to Ukraine, said the U.S. aid was explicitly tied to Ukraine's willingness to investigate the president's rivals.
The chief agitators on the Ukrainian side of this effort were some of those same corrupt former prosecutors I had encountered, particularly Yuri Lutsenko and Viktor Shokin. They were now peddling false information in order to extract revenge against those who had exposed their misconduct, including U.S. diplomats, Ukrainian anti-corruption officials, and reform-minded civil society groups in Ukraine.
Interference in the 2016 election showed how the official foreign policy of the United States was undercut by the irregular efforts led by Mr. Giuliani. I'm not here to do anything having to do with to decide about impeachment. That is not what either of us are here to do. This is your job.
When asked if President Trump watched any of the hearings, President Trump responded, quote, "I'm too busy to watch it. It's a witch hunt. It's a hoax." The next open hearing will be this Friday with the Democrats questioning Marie Yovanovitch, the former U.S. ambassador to Ukraine. Now over to you, Cecil.
For some USC students, the impeachment inquiries are an opportunity to learn about the process. Our reporter Morgan Stevens joined students today as they watch the hearings here at Annenberg.
Journalism student Catherine Orihuela was the first to arrive this morning at Wallace Annenberg Hall to watch the first public impeachment hearing.
This is definitely something that the media is going to be covering for a long time. And in this day and age, they're sort of reassessing how they're going to be covering politics, given what they sort of misunderstood during 2016.
I'm here right now in the Annenberg lobby where they're holding the only public screening of the impeachment hearings on campus. As you can see behind me, there's around a dozen students that are here right now, some getting here as early as 7 a.m.
In order to be informed and make informed decisions, especially with the election coming up in 2020, you need to be aware of what's going on.
I think it's important that if anyone wants to watch them, like everyone has access to them and can educate themselves and know what's happening within the government.
Annenberg professor Christina Bellantoni organized the event, hoping this would give students the opportunity to make up their own mind about the process.
The actual chatter afterwards, we don't need to interpret it for them. We want students to be able to form their own questions and then ask us for whatever we can provide.
One student says he didn't watch the hearing because he's already decided on impeachment.
Impeachment will create a clear enough picture of the abuses of office that it will persuade that sort of percentage to, one, make it so that presidents in the future understand that there are political consequences to abusing their power.
Annenberg will hold a forum for another impeachment hearing on Friday when a third U.S. official testifies. For Annenberg Media, I'm Morgan Stevens.
The actual public debate has long been set in stone. Annenberg Media's Kevin McNamara has that story.
As the impeachment hearings finally get underway, one thing we know for sure. Millions on both sides of the aisle have long made up their mind, thanks to the immense power of social media and cable news.
The design of these platforms allows people to interact with particular groups. Often those groups are ones that are going to reflect your own views more than any other. So by design, you end up in a filter bubble.
There's nothing mysterious about how or why our media, and subsequently our politics, ended up this way. It all comes down to the almighty dollar.
The system is designed this way partly because it's a very effective way of collecting advertising revenue by being able to micro-target people. It is really a business incentive that drove Fox to stake out its claim to the right, and then subsequently later MSNBC to think that they should own the left side of the spectrum.
According to a recent poll by the Public American Research Institute, 55% of Republicans who say Fox News is their primary news source say there is nothing the president could do to lose their approval.
I would think it would require a bombshell to get Republicans to turn, but we've already had a bombshell.
This media ecosystem has created a situation where elected Republicans simply have no choice but to support the president. It's just another day of the kind of hyper-partisan politics that social media and cable news are designed to create. For Annenberg Media, I'm Kevin McNamara.
In less than an hour,